All right, Brent, we're doing the defense talk, Georgia versus Tennessee Tech. We're brought to you by ASW Distillery, Breda Pest Management, and Oconee Gold Barbecue Sauce. You're a numbers guy, but even I followed you on this one because you told me before the show the most impressive thing about Georgia's defense is
3 points allowed in each of the last 3 games.
not a touchdown allowed in 3 football games.
Yep, pretty darn impressive. This one's obviously expected, I guess, in a way, and so somewhat in a way that if they scored, it's like, oh, okay, but they did this team, they still can play. It's not like they're, but it does look. I will say when Georgia is running with the ones, there's a lot of this looks like the varsity playing the 8th grade or 9th grade kind of vibe, where it's just like you have no answer for some of the things that are happening.
Did you care about the field goal at the end? Did that mean anything to you?
No.
Okay. As a coach, you're fine with that?
Yeah, no, that guy's got to coach his team. I don't.
Well, this is the first play of the game where he had to coach against Georgia's defense.
And it's one where I never understand teams who are knowingly physically have no shot. Why do they go east-west?
Is this supposed to be a double pass? That's the only thing I could think with the angle that he's taking.
Yeah, he took a really weird.
To go back into here, the only thing I could think is somehow this is, but he's not looking at anything.
No,
he's looking to block.
Yeah.
So it's just a really rough angle.
And he doesn't try to grab it to throw at all. But here's the best part. One, you got Munden who sees it and goes and reacts and does what he does. But the other thing is Aguero being, first playing time of the season for Janelle Aguero, star, which is his lineup is outside backer here, being physical, staying outside. Which is something that he didn't necessarily do in a play we'll show later, but go do that. Be physical, take on 2, stay outside, great work. That's how it's done. That's how you teach it. That's good stuff.
And of course, who gets there to the sticks? Malachi Starks is like, if anything happens, I'm here, fellas.
I'm there. But yeah, I don't understand teams that go east-west when you're not. And by the way, Kentucky is kind of going to be the same. If they go east-west, I don't think it's going to end well for them.
There ain't no end zone over there.
This is the greatest formation in the history of football.
This guy is my favorite person in college football this week.
Yeah, slot receiver on multiple occasions, by the way. And we're going to show him on a couple different occasions.
But just, you're at Tennessee Tech. You're getting the payday to come to Athens. Like, imagine your coach going to you and be like, hey, I know you're a 290-pound junior offensive lineman. I need you to come in motion a few times for me.
Yeah. And this is one where it's like, okay, KJ Bolden is pretty good as an athlete. Can't get there quite in time for that. And that's, you can't really expect that.
Quite in time. That's the Bob Euchre just a bit outside.
Well, he's not necessarily expecting him to be there. He's looking for a much bigger guy, somebody his own size. But think about what Bolden has been the first 2 weeks. I mean, he's played, I think, second most snaps. In the 2 weeks, played a lot in this game, second most snaps in this game, most snaps last week. 75, I think he's right in the mid-70s in terms of overall grade. Hasn't missed a tackle in the first 2 games. I loved watching the rotation in this game of him, Dan Jackson, Malachi Starks. You saw a lot of him and Starks together as the 2 safeties. I think you can see more of that potentially as things evolve. So, yeah, good stuff from him.
I'll tell you one other thing I liked on this play is Chaz and how decisive he is. So stutter step, go.
Yep.
Lunge at it.
And be an athlete, by the way. Avoid the block.
Yeah. I think Chaz is off to a solid start. And with Michael Williams coming back, you need experience at that spot to get some edge rushing happening.
So Kirby Smart talks all the time about situational football. All right, 4th and 1. This is kind of a you want to be able to make that play. We talked about, just talked about going east-west and don't understand it. Well, when you only need 1 yard, it maybe is a little more beneficial for you. But also, Aguero, by the way, watching him play, super physical, very physical player. Just hits the wrong shoulder right here. Look where he hits the guy. Hits the guy on the inside shoulder. Right there.
So he needs to get out here.
Hit the outside shoulder. Make that guy, make the other guy block you. Make the 4 bubble out wider. Make a pile. But here, him hitting the inside shoulder, the guy does a good job of the player just fighting through it. And now they get the first down.
Dan Jackson tries to make a hero play, but that's a really hard thing to do, flying in that way.
Exactly. So that's one where it's like, you go be physical like that. Just go be physical to the correct spot.
Hey, first game he played after the injury against Clemson. There's a lot of positive signs for all the reasons you said.
Yep.
2nd and 5 here in midfield.
This guy was the highest graded player in the game, and for a reason. And by the way, is the highest graded player who's played consistently in the first 2 games overall. When you combine the first 2 games, Tyrion Ingram Dawkins, he's been playing lights out the first 2 weeks. Just get away from me, get on the ground. And obviously, this is one of those things where you should do this given the talent disparity or in the team disparity. But still, you got to go actually do it.
But we've seen a lot of players that haven't.
And him being healthy, his versatility, because he's a, upper 200s, close to 300-pound kind of guy with athleticism that can go inside, can play outside. He's inside a lot on pass rush downs. Like, his emergence is just humongous for the defensive line depth, I think, for Georgia moving forward.
And we will see more of him. My buddy, Jalen Walker.
If he's going to keep playing inside backer, which, by the way, through the first 2 games he's played, I think 44 snaps, 16 have been an inside backer, 26 he's been, or 28 he's been on the edge in some way as a stand-up edge rusher. If he's going to be an inside backer, do this with him all day, every day, all game. Like, just go get in the backfield and go make plays, because the speed and the acceleration that he has. Now, granted, obviously he missed the tackle, and we're going to get to the tackling in a little bit, but still, like, go be disruptive. And it's just, for me, just from a, what do you want to see from Georgia's defense when he's an inside backer? Go do this. Don't make him sit there and read and react and think about things. Just go hunt.
When a read and exchange is happening here, and this is what they see in front of them, that's how fumbles happen.
Yeah.
So I think that's the exciting part, is you can see some of those chaos plays that could potentially be developed.
Havoc, right? They call them the havoc plays.
Yeah, I've heard both, but yeah, I think Georgia probably does go havoc, but you just want to cause them to freak out a little bit in the backfield. Credit to Tennessee Tech for not.
Yes. Yeah.
3rd and 10.
Just let him. Now, you saw them do this a lot in this game. 3rd down runs. Like, Georgia's obviously playing pass here. They're bringing the blitz from one side. That Damon Wilson's dropping off as the sort of middle of the field spy, and the other side, backers dropping off. But so the interesting part about the tackling in this game, first run, when you think about review, is, or before PFF does the reviewing process, their overall tackling grade in this game, as a team, 48.3. That's only the 4th time in the 10 years that are in the or since Kirby has been there. So that's 8 years that they've been under 50 in a game, overall team tackling grade. The others were 2022 at Missouri, 2019 at Tennessee, and 2016 at Kentucky. Now, I will say a lot of those missed tackles were towards the end of the game.
Some
of the young guys, yes, but still. And then the other thing with showing this too is, I mean, it's a good. Kentucky's not going to be afraid to run the ball on 3rd down because they likely don't trust their quarterback and or their offensive line.
Oh, well,
that's a big thing.
Didn't they have like 6 pass attempts halfway through the 3rd quarter?
Right. It's not something they really feel good doing right now. So being able to play the run on 3rd down is something you're going to have to get used to.
Yeah. All right. 2nd quarter, about halfway through.
Ingram Dawkins again. By the way, this is a straight one-arm tackle. Like, if you look at it from with the all 22 from the end zone thing, he's getting blocked, and that guy's completely got his right arm, and he left arm just stops the dude in cold and brings him down with his left arm. Very impressive.
I have to think Trey Scott's got to love how low he starts and the burst he has. Getting to that moment, because that's getting lower and having leverage the whole way. We see this the couple times we get to go to practice. I mean, this is half of what they work on at defensive line, and I mean,
and finishes it.
that's just such a winning rep right there. And then to bring him down with the one arm.
And you think about him specifically as a player. You've seen flashes. Like you've legit seen flashes of greatness from him. Some play, like I think last year against Florida, some of the plays he made before he got hurt. Like, you just haven't. He's been hurt. Haven't seen it consistently. And now that you're getting it consistently, that can elevate your defense, especially in that spot. And by the way, we're going to spend a lot of time in the last 4 or 5 plays here highlighting guys on the interior defensive line because you got to see a lot of different ones in this game. Like Jarrett's in the game right here, right beside him. I think that's Christian Miller. This one's Christian Miller.
Yeah, this is the Christian Miller.
But like he's making plays and been dominant, I think, as a run defender.
I'm always impressed with the vision that defensive linemen can have. That you have big dudes in front of you, and yet you can keep your eyes on where the ball's going.
Yep.
And I know that that's something that like some people have more naturally than others, but like that's a trained thing.
Yes.
To be able to keep your eyes there and
back, shed, make the play. And I love Gabe Harris, by the way, always willing to throw his body around at the end.
We didn't acknowledge my best friend in college football.
Your boy here, 79.
I mean, see, if I was a high school coach, I'd be doing this kind of stuff all the time. I want my big dudes to be running around. Like, yeah.
He was probably he enjoyed the collision a little more so than trying to have to block KJ Bolden, that's for sure.
But here's the difference. Football coaches try to win games. What I do, I try to be entertaining. So it's why Jameis Winston in the NFL is one of my favorite players. And why I'm devastated that the Saints let him go because they're not fun anymore, even though they destroyed the Panthers. Whatever.
Heck of a play by Miller.
Here's that bad camera work from ESPN.
Yes. But still, Jamal Jarrett, or Jaw, I think, you hear him called. Loops around here, sees it, sheds, boom, makes the play in the hole. Obviously, we can't see it that great because of beautiful ESPN Plus, which, by the way, I thought it was my own screen.
Nope, it was.
And I don't know if the whole black screen thing.
Yep.
Where you just heard talking and then you got the black screen. That was awesome.
Oh, try doing a watch along show when that happens. A listen along show.
I saw somebody tweet it, so I was like, "Oh, it's not just mine, evidently."
Just John Jarrett's been a project for Trey Scott. Anytime that I have been to some of the fall camp practices, I mean,
and Kirby Smart for that matter, by the way.
You think so?
Yeah, just from I need to get the best. Trying to get the best. He knows there's something there. That's the thing. I think you can see him coaching guys really, really hard because he knows there's some level of greatness or contribution that can be made from those guys, trying to get every ounce of them. And a lot of times it's just to believe in themselves as much as anything.
And let's get to the fourth quarter here.
Jordan Thomas, Drew Frosch from New Jersey, 2 pressures, sack here. Like Jarrett got early reps. He was the next in line in terms of getting early reps. You saw JJA get some early reps. Those guys got to get, and you just got to be able to build depth with those guys and get them meaningful reps. And that's what these games like this are for. Go make plays, go do things, and take care of business and only give up the 3 points that you did there at the very end. I think it wasn't, I can't even remember. It was less than, I know it was the under on our predictions piece in terms of yardage hit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people picked the under.
So that's Georgia's defense against Tennessee Tech. I don't think anything that was that we weren't used to. Anything that was, but they still played a really good game. And you've seen defenses sometimes don't show up for those kind of sleepy games.
Or give up a lot of yards. Like other games they've been hurt from a yardage standpoint in some of those games just because almost semi falling asleep.
Yeah,
they were dialed in.
You saw Nichols compete with LSU this past weekend. Like it happens sometimes.
Yep.
What I'm dialed into is ASW Distillery, the Hunker vodka that you can get for your tailgate. Because if you have other vodkas, that means you're probably supporting University of Texas. Because there's another one that starts with a T that donates toward them. So anytime you buy Hunker vodka or the upcoming Hunker bourbon, which I've had that first sip of, The proceeds of that, some of it goes to Classic C Collective, Georgia's NIL arm, ASW Distillery. 5 of the 6 founders are UGA grads. They like to say they're distilled by dogs. Also, we are presented by Breda Pest Management, the official pest control of the Georgia Bulldogs, and Oconee Gold, small batch barbecue sauce. If you use the promo code Film Don't Lie on their website right now, you can get 20% off of your order, which is just fantastic. If you want to like load up for the year, maybe you want to go ahead and do a little early Christmas shopping, this will save you some cash to do that. Man, just some really good products there from our friends Oconee Gold, small batch barbecue sauce, Oconee Gold, bbqsauce.com. Thanks for their support of Film Don't Lie from UGA Sports. What else to come on this channel this week? So we have all the normal stuff that UGA Sports has for you. Brent and I will have a preview of the Kentucky Wildcats offense and what this Georgia defense will be up against. And it's a little Jekyll and Hyde from the Southern Miss game to the South Carolina game, but I am excited to dive into what South Carolina did so well defensively that Kentucky simply did not have an answer for. And I think Georgia's primed to do a lot of that as well.
Their numbers are 5 and 6.
Okay. There
For
you
South
go.
Carolina. They're really good.
Yeah. It helps to have good players in the defensive front for sure. Georgia has a lot of them too. All right, we're going to wrap it up here on this Film Don't Lie. Thanks for watching.